Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you guys game 1 in a series between Liquid TLO versus HasuObs here on Newkirk City or Newkirk Precinct or Newkirk District. I'm not quite sure what the difference is in terms of the names and the maps, but I do know it is Newkirk something as the game is now getting underway. TLO, the little one, spawning as the blue Zerg on the bottom left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, HasuObs spawning as the red Protoss on the bottom right. Now, we have known TLO to really go for those economic openings, and will we be seeing that here in this series? Only time will tell, as we are here on Newkirk, and I do in fact believe that HasuObs is going for a rather interesting build. You can take a look, there is already a pylon being built behind the mineral lines, and with this position, I'm not exactly sure what to expect from HasuObs. Now, HasuObs may be just trying to build his gateways back over here, a little bit more of a sim city and a little bit more of a head fake, as TLO may end up looking for a proxy gateway. Now, what is TLO doing? TLO opening up over here. Looks like he will be going for... Is he going for a hatchery first? It looks like he may be doing exactly that. Yes, he is hatchery first. And it is going to be a rather quick hatchery. There it goes. Now comes the hatchery here. Now, you can see that TLO did a quick check, making sure that there were no pylons or anything of that nature back over here. Meanwhile, HasuObs looks like he's going to be going for a Nexus first, even though his first pylon is in a rather strange position. Now, where is this probe going? The probe now going to make its way down, perhaps warp in a Nexus, and then warp in a pylon on the front door, and now do a bit of scouting. The key question, is TLO going to spot the low ground first, or is he actually going to spot the high ground first? Forge already being built back home here, and this is a rather safe play. The reason why Protoss players decide to build their forge back here is just in case they do get 6, 7, or 10 pulled, they are able to place a photon cannon here and protect their probes. Also, they do not lose their forge in the early portion of the game, and also that forge, which is a key indicator on whether or not you're going for a fast, a quick 2-gate all-in, is going to be a little bit more difficult to actually scout out. Obviously, the downside is that this front door is much more wide open. As we are now taking a look at a probe, the probe is going to be doing a bit of scouting here, and curiously enough, Hasu or TLO is not going for a third base. Probe just does a quick run by, notices that no gas has been placed down, and he knows, okay, this is going to be an economic game, even though I don't see a third base just quite yet. One probe now on its way back home. There are Zerglings trying to chase. The Zerglings may catch up to that probe, but I don't believe so, as that probe just has too much of a head start, and with that head start, those Zerglings are not going to be able to recover enough of that distance, as the Zerglings, oh my goodness, what is that probe doing? That probe perhaps baiting himself, as the probe now trying to get in front here. Is it going to be enough? The Zerglings may actually get off some damage onto something. No, the Zerglings are just going to simply try to run through, and does get spotted and taken down. So the photon cannon on the front door pushes back those Zerglings. So far, TLO now going into double extractors inside the main base. And what is he going to be doing to follow this up? Count them, 3 harvesters on each gas. And we are seeing a double queens now down here on the front door. So far, warp gate, stalkers now being trained up, a lot of probes back over here as well. No weapons upgrades coming in just quite yet, as HasuObs is a little bit behind in terms of the economic opening, 39 compared to 43. But we also see that HasuObs is going for that very popular Stargate harassment. Now, are we going to be seeing Phoenixes or Oracles? Both of them are strong options now. I believe we are going to be going into Oracles based upon what I see so far. The establishment of higher gas here and here does seem to tip that it is going to be more Oracle play, as there are overlords out around the map. TLO has established up his third base. This is a little bit later than most Zerg players want to establish up their third base, but there really isn't that many options for a Zerg player here. If you expand too quickly on a map like this, Protoss players with a proxy 2-gate anywhere could easily shut that down. Now, TLO gonna be laying down those creep tumors, doing a great job already. You can see TLO has already spread creep out about a third of the way across the map. Queens now making their way up onto the high ground as well to get those creep tumors spread it out rather quickly. So perhaps one more creep tumor down over here to connect the bases, and then this creep tumor will be able to go hop, skip, and a jump down here and get even more and more of a creep spread. So far, Mothership Core just hanging on at that Xel'Naga tower. More of a inviting way of saying, you know what, Zerglings are not welcome, as we are now going into Void Rays. Surprisingly enough, HasuObs opting to go into Void Rays, and we are now waiting for perhaps another Void Ray to join them in numbers. You can see one Overseer now making its way in. No, the Void Ray is going to be pushing it over here. Does a quick shoot down. 250 resources lost. Overseers are rather expensive, as the Void Ray now going to be wandering about once again. So far, what's going to be happening here? That cooldown is taking a little bit of time, but it does have a 20-second boost, as the Void Ray is now hiding off in the corner over here at the 3 o'clock position. Is a second Void Ray being added? No, a second Void Ray is not being added. We are now going into a Warp Prism, as we are now also transitioning into a Spire by TLO. TLO with that Spire could easily go for Corruptors and should be able to shut down this Warp Prism, but HasuObs has not invested very much into this one Void Ray. This Void Ray out and about now. Let's take a look. We do see a lot of sentries are down. Mutalisks are now taking to the skies, and this is going to be a quick shutdown for whatever HasuObs has in store. Are we going to perhaps unload the units here? It looks like it's going to be a Void Ray Mutalisk sentry drop, and this is not going to be good, as we now see the Mutalisks are now coming in. That's not going to be good at all. Sentries are being dropped down. That is not good. You can see how quickly things are going from bad to worse here, as the Guardian Shield is now thrown up. Zerglings, Mothership Core in this engagement. TLO was supply block for a little bit of time. Not that much of a ground army, though, as the Stalkers and the Mothership Core should be able to prevent a lot of the damage, as the Guardian Shield does reduce much of the damage from those Mutalisks. Stalkers now trying to catch up to those Mutalisks, however, coming across the map, and it looks like they are going to be going for some free and easy targets. All right, those force fields now perhaps haunting HasuObs just a bit, and it turns out this may turn into a base race here, as the Mutalisks, 10 Mutalisks, 11 Mutalisks now in the air, going to just go to town onto all of these probes. Photon cannons are being added behind each here. What is going to be happening to these Phoenixes? The Phoenixes need to get off some easy shots off onto these Mutalisks now. As you can see, the Phoenix is going to a bit of work. All right, no photon cannons whatsoever. Is the Phoenix now doing a little bit of fancy flying? Is it going to be enough? Yes, one Mutalisk gets taken down. Another Mutalisk get taken down there, as we are still fighting it out. Meanwhile, the main attack force of HasuObs trying to continue the push. Is there going to be enough? There is still a good number of sentries, as the sentries could throw up some Guardian Shields. There's the Guardian Shields. There's a Time Warp, as the Mutalisks and a whole bunch of units are rather slowed. Roach is now coming in from behind. Another Time Warp, as the drones now trying to engage. This is not looking good at all for TLO. HasuObs pretty much protected inside his main base. The Mutalisk threat has been taken out, as more and more Mutalisks are still coming out. Mothership Core is still getting in a lot of damage here. That Time Warp slowing down the units, and HasuObs takes game 1 in this series. TLO looking very, very strong, and wow, I gotta admit, a great game here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed game 1 in this series. Please stay tuned for game 2.